So we have to confess to you that Joe and I are actually not capable of dancing that well as what you saw. So we had to bring you out our stunt doubles. This is Zach Domberger and Harrison Haggis. So thanks, guys.
Zach's actually our son, for those of you who don't know.
And Harrison almost is.
Well, welcome to the Rialto. Hannah and I, every year, this is like coming home for us because we live down in Berthoud, just 10 minutes south. So that's really special. Yeah, thank you so much. And we just released our 10th CD this last fall, which is very exciting for us. So we'd like to do the title cut for that right now. This is called Ancient Lovers. I wrote this because many years ago, when I was a teen, we were celebrating my great-grandmother's 100th birthday. And I remember thinking that day, I was looking at her and saying, wow, this woman came to Colorado in a covered wagon, and she was around to see the first man walk on the moon. So it was like, that's really amazing. So, and this talks about no matter how far technology takes us and how fast we race ahead, the thing that never changes is the human story and the human condition and the love stories. This is Ancient Lovers. I am just a simple man, nothing do I own. I've been here 10,000 years and still I need to roam. Still I need to roam. Misty woods of Spanish moss, into dusk she ran. Sun-drenched hair, her shoulders bare, a message in her hand. A message in her hand. And the night, oh the night, dancing shadows full of light. In the dawn, oh the dawn, ancient lovers carry on. Came to me on harvest moon, a maiden in the wheat. The night was cold, my heart was bold, and we both felt the heat. Yes, we both felt the heat. And the night, oh the night, dancing shadows full of light. In the dawn, oh the dawn, ancient lovers carry on. We'll ride these waves of dusty gold and cross the sacred land. Children of a lesser God are walking hand in hand. Yes, walking hand in hand. And the night, oh the night, dancing shadows full of light. In the dawn, oh the dawn, ancient lovers carry on. In the night, oh the night, dancing shadows full of light. In the dawn, oh the dawn, ancient lovers carry on. Ancient lovers travel on. Thank you so much. Well, I'll do another brand new one. This is, as many of you know, Hannah and I, our travels, we travel a lot. We get to tour the U.S. and abroad every year, and it's quite an honor and a privilege, and those travels really influence our music. So we'd like to take you to one of our favorite places, and that is Spain. And this is a piece called Luna y el Sol, or The Moon and the Sun. so very much. Now we're going to do some Christmas music. Is that okay if we do some Christmas music tonight? Okay. Well,
It's finally legal again.
yes, we have released 2 Christmas CDs, and we'd like to do one, go back to our very first recording, our Joy to the World CD, and this is one of our all-time favorite Christmas pieces. This will feature Hannah on O Holy Night.
He almost said Hannah on the cello, because there would be another instrument over here.
Oh yeah, we've already determined that you only play the cello.
You know all the secrets now.
Yes, yes. So what'd you think of Hannah's little accordion, air who, penny whistle performance? You
Only
can
for
imagine.
you guys.
Yeah, you can imagine what it's like around our house. And also, you can when Zach was 2 years old, Hannah was trying to learn the penny whistle.
I bought this penny whistle because Joe had said back then, hey, it'd be cool. Do you play anything other than the cello? And it was like, no. And he said, well, I think it'd be cool if you could, even just for a song or two. And so I said, okay. And he said, the penny whistle isn't too bad. You should try something like that. So I bought that one that you saw, and $10 somewhere, thought, how hard can it be? Well, I was sitting there practicing in the living room, and Zach was 2, and he came walking over to me and grabbed the end of the penny whistle, and he looked up into my eyes and he said, Mommy, stop.
Yeah.
So I called Joe and I said, I've just been fired.
Just cello.
But it was cool because we were in schools last weekend in Idaho, and we were doing a 2.5-hour session with the middle school, and it was 250 string players in this middle school. It was an unbelievable program, and one of the questions this little 11-year-old girl asked was, who would you be if you didn't have a cello in your life? And I just thought, that's the biggest question I've ever heard. I love it. So it was I told her, well, not a, penny whistle player, obviously, but I told her in truth, I just said I would be pieces of who I am, but I would be missing depth and breadth to my experience in this life without the cello. It's sort of like a speaker on my heart or something. And so anyway, I don't know what that has to do with O Holy Night, but we're going to play it for you now.
Thank you so much. Well, I know this is our 12th annual concert here, so I'm assuming a lot of you folks in the audience have seen us several times, but for those of you new to our story here, just a brief little history here. Hannah and I began Acoustic Eidolon over 14 years ago, and it's been a tremendous, very rewarding journey thus far, and we're looking forward to the next 14 years. And we started, as many of you know, as just business partners, you know, musical collaborators, colleagues, what have you. But after a couple years, we did fall in love. And we got married just over 11 years ago now. And so we're still married. And, you know, and you know, when we celebrated our 1-year wedding anniversary, we got to celebrate it in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is the home of Walmart. And it was a unique experience, and it wasn't quite what we had in mind, but I told Hannah that night as we sat in our Motel 6 that it would get better, and it did. The last 10 anniversaries, we've actually been somewhere in Europe. We get to go to Europe every October, which is when our anniversary is, and a few years back, we found ourselves in France. Last year, we were in Norway, so it's been very special, and it did get better, huh?
It did.
Yeah.
A little more romantic than Bentonville, but yeah. But yes, we decided that I kind of set this goal that it would be really great to write a song in each language for each of the different countries that we've been able to celebrate our anniversary. And of course, I would make it a love song about Joe or for Joe. And but I don't speak many of the languages that we've been, so Germany's kind of still out. I'm still writing love songs about food in German. Not so much Joe. And Norway was really right out. I thought, oh, you know, how hard could it be? I could just practice a couple little phrases and find something romantic. So I was secretly, you know, asking people at concerts, well, how would you say, you know, man of my dreams or something? And it's like, oh, really? How about 1, 2, 3?
That doesn't rhyme, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, so anyway, so the song came out in French for the one that we were in France, and it was, yeah, it was wonderful to be there anyway. We were in town doing a festival called Guitars for Hope, and it was raising funds and awareness for cancer research, and so very near and dear to our hearts. And it just wound up being a really special evening, and at midnight after the concert, we were sitting around this big kitchen area with all the promoters of the concert and in this big circle and sampling some of the regional French cheese and wine and all this kind of thing. And right at midnight, they started singing. And I elbowed Joe and I said, they're singing Happy Anniversary to us. And it was just really special. And
yeah.
So,
I knew that.
well, you had dusted off your French before the show.
Yeah. Oui, 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 oui. Pepe le Pew. That's my French.
He wasn't much of a help on that one. Good thing he plays the guitar. Guitars. So anyway, so the song came out in French, so Joe still doesn't know how much I love him because it's in French, but but this is on the new CD. This is called When the Rain Falls.
When the rain falls, still we dance. This part's in English. When the moonlight, we'll take the chance. Living now, calling out, falling. Now we fly. When the rain falls, still we dance. In the moonlight, we will take a chance. Living now, calling out, falling, now we fly.
Nous sommes amants d'amour, sous la pluie nous dansons toujours, dans le rêve du jour, avec les lèvres cœur à cœur. La da da di da 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 di da da. Nous rions à tout et nous dansons entrelacés.
When the rain falls. Thank you so much. So I wrote a song. I was inspired to write this next tune by an image that I saw a year ago or so. I was driving down in Denver, took an exit off of I-25 there, and at the top of the off-ramp there was a homeless man sitting there on the bridge. And he was sitting, and he had this really large Bible on his lap. And on the Bible he was stacking these stacks of change that he had collected so far that day. And I was sitting there at the light just watching him, and it was, for me, a really powerful image. And so I decided, I wish that I'd had the time to stop and actually talk to him and kind of hear a little bit about his story, but I couldn't. And so that image would not leave my mind, so I decided to try to write a story for this man, write a song for him. So I wrote the story of Billy Ray. I see him there most every day. I think it's where he goes to pray for hours. Sitting on a concrete step, on his knees a Bible wept, no flowers. Billy Ray, Billy Ray, seems you found a place to pray. By the side of the road is your shrine. Billy Ray, Billy Ray, the sun came out today. Now you're warm, this is home, Billy Ray. He left home at 17. On the streets he learned to dream for hours. People, they just passed him by, careful not to catch his eye, invisible. Billy Ray, Billy Ray, now you found a place to pray. By the side of the road is your shrine. Billy Ray, Billy Ray, the sun came out today. Now you're warm, this is home, Billy Ray. Salvation is a pickup truck, a roll-down window in the cup you'll eat now. Angels fall down in the night like the rain, they're so damn bright. On his Bible counting change, stacks of silver seem so strange. Survival. The book is worn beyond belief. His faith is torn but still complete. He's hopeful. so hopeful. Billy Ray, now you found a place to pray. By the side of the road is your shrine. Billy Ray, the sun came out today. Now you're warm, this is home, Billy Ray. Thank you so very much. So back to Christmas. We're going to do a few Christmas tunes tonight for you just because we have to. This is from our latest Christmas CD, which is Winter's Call. This is our take on We Three Kings.
Thank you. So back to the new CD. This is our CD release, so we're playing you lots of selections from that one. And this is a song that we wrote about a house. And I think most of us somewhere in our lives or backgrounds have had a really cool old house in there. And they're magical places. For me, it was my grandparents' house. And I grew up with my family in Champaign, Illinois. And my grandparents lived in Easton, Pennsylvania. And they had one of these old row houses that was, 3 stories high and really long, and had the double basement with the really creepy coal basement all the way down on the bottom level. Guaranteed you could find a spider. And and this house was full of all these secret passageways and hidden doorways and things like that, because I guess they were originally servants' passages or something like that. But it was a great place to play hide and seek in. And so my sister and I would spend hours playing hide and seek in this house, and we were always discovering new favorite places. And I remember one time I was hiding in the coat closet that was sort of in the foyer where you came in, and she was getting really close to finding me. And so I was kind of squishing back through the coats and so that she wouldn't find me. And she opened the door to the closet, and I fell down a flight of stairs because the closet didn't have a back, and I didn't know that. So I was fine, or at least it explains me now. But and it was really a great place. It was like having our own Narnia, really, to play in, and I loved it. And so Joe and I were staying in this house a couple years ago, and it turned out to be around the time that the family had decided that it was time to let this house go. And my grandparents had been full-time musicians in this house, and through their careers. My grandmother actually taught guitar in that house until she was 90. And I thought, what a legacy, And so yeah, we were staying there. We were on an East Coast tour and kind of home basing at the house. And it happened to be that weekend that my dad called us and said, we've just accepted a contract, and so this is it. You guys are there, and you'll get to say goodbye. And it was a harder house to say goodbye to than we realized it would be. And so that weekend, we decided to help the house write her song. And so this is that song. And the house is singing it to my dad, basically, because he was the one who was lucky enough to be the kid growing up in this house with his brother. And I always thought that must have been really cool to have had that as your original place. And my dad's here tonight, and so, Dad and Melissa, this one's for you. So this is called The Address of the House, which is 75 North 2nd Street. I've stood here 200 years and held each of your lives. My 4 walls surround you, night after night. My laughter is silent, but I echo with your talk. Doorways telling stories, stairways that can walk. Your father's hands were never still, creating every day. Instruments and music, and teaching how to play. Your mother's smile still radiates through dust in sunlit beams. Shelves and shelves of their life work, I held them all those years. And as the years roll by, my roof has kept you dry. I'm the shelter from the storms, and my glory will not fade. This family we made, you're the beating of my heart. I watched you walk away to ride a bus to school with a backpack and lunch pail, crayons as your tools. At night you play piano, filled my rooms with your soul. Chopin, Brahms, and Beethoven There's stories you told. And as the years roll by, my roof has kept you dry. I'm the shelter from the storms. And my glory will not fade. This family we made. You're the beating of my heart. I taught you a foundation can crack and still be strong. Banisters are boundaries, but the world can still go wrong. Window seats that held your tears when it rained from within. Shelves of creativity, then dust settled in. Plaster cracks like wrinkles tell my story over time. Cupboards painted by aging hands, their silence is mine. I creaked with your laughter, held my breath when you cried. I played the silence in the melodies of your life. And now a new family plays across my floor. 75 North 2nd Street, still nailed above my door. 200 years I've been here, and 100 more I'll stand. 4 walls and a lot of soul, generations in my hands. And as the years roll by, my roof has kept you dry. I'm the shelter from the storms. And my glory will not fade. This family we made. You're the beating of my heart. You're still the beating of my heart.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to do one more tune and then take an intermission. And during the intermission, you know, there's only, I think, 25 shopping days left till Christmas. And I have to tell you that our 10 CDs make the perfect gift for everyone on your... But seriously, you know, I usually joke that we have a lot of product out there like fly swatters and bumper stickers and Tupperware and what have you. But this year we do have a new product out there for reals, and that is Hannah's Acoustic Apple Butter and Eidolon Peach Butter that Hannah made this last summer. And it is, I'm serious, this is not a joke, it is awesome. And it's actually under the name Hot Lips Hannah, actually, is really the name of this, but she wouldn't put that on the labels. But so that's
it didn't fit.
That's right.
The labels are too small.
That's right. For your lips? Or?
No, for the name.
Anyway, we invite you to check all the fun stuff out there. And yeah, we'll be back in about 15 or so minutes to play some more music for you. So we'll leave you with another piece from the new CD. This is another one of our original flamenco-inspired pieces. This is Passion Dance. Well, thank you and welcome back. So you guys, you see, I wasn't joking about the apple butter and the peach butter and yeah. Hannah, I have to say, she makes the best apple butter. Yeah. So.
He's just making up for all those instrument jokes over the years.
I'm
on to you. So I just have to point out that I picked the apples and I prepped them and I baked them and I, whatever. And Joe was saying I should put that on the labels that, apples done by Hannah, apples, by Hannah, Hannah, and then say at the bottom something like, and Joe watched. But I told him I didn't want to go there. That's.
Yeah. So we'll do a tune that was inspired by, we got to do a concert a few years back on the Big Island in Hawaii and in Volcano National Park at their auditorium there, and that was a thrill. And part of that trip, we actually did a little hiking. We did the hike that allowed you to go across the crater of Kilauea. And some of you may have done this. You can actually walk. Well, not right now, because right now it's pretty active, I guess. But we got to walk across, and there were steam vents coming up, and it was very dramatic. And yeah, we survived it. So I was inspired to write a song. So.
This is one of the fundamental differences between us, because Joe was inspired, and I was terrified the entire time. And when we were going into the park to take this hike, I made us stop at the ranger station at the entrance, and I showed the ranger there our little, the map that had Kilauea Crater on it, and I said, we're thinking of taking this hike. Is this safe-ish? I mean, can you tell these things or not? But anyway, so he looked at the map, and then he looked at me, and then he kind of leaned down, looked in the car at Joe, and he said, wait, I recognize you. You're our musicians. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. So I didn't feel safe.
Kilauea burning. you so much. Kilauea burning.
Thank you. Well, by the time we were recording our Barefoot CD, which is number 6 in the lineup, at this point it's almost like having kids, you know. But anyway, by the time we got to that point in our history, Joe and I had decided that it was time to write a song about our relationship.
Uh-oh.
And no, but we realized we were getting, we were doing a lot of various things for media with interviews and that kind of thing, and the interviewer would always start with asking us about the instrumentation and our backgrounds and how on earth did you guys find each other coming from such different worlds, and those kinds of questions. And then they would always get around to, so you're married, how's that working out for you? And it got to be kind of a joke for us. I mean, not the question, but just the fact that it was always asked, because we realized by that I guess what we have and do is really unusual. And we are truly together 24/7, and not much of a break there. And somehow we thrive on that, but I guess that's also a little unusual. And so we had to really think about it and come up with an answer of some sort to say in these interviews, and so we had to write a song to figure it out. And but one thing that we realized when we started sort of thinking about it and thinking about themes in our relationship was that we've always had this sort of unspoken, and spoken golden rule in Acoustic Eidolon once we started the relationship, and that is that no matter what kinds of storm comes rolling into our relationship during any given day, because we get them too, but the rule is that storm has to roll out of our relationship by sound check, which is before the concert.
Mm-hmm. It's for your own good.
Yes. Yes, it is. And so when you have kind of a storm with a deadline, you kind of got to pick and choose a little bit more. And it kind of keeps us a little more honest. So we joke that we've been married for 11. That part's true. But the joke is that it feels like we've probably been married more like 22 because of all the, having to fast forward through storms and get them resolved. And so this is the song that we wrote that sort of portrays this. And so you'll hear the Git Joe as one voice sing a love song. And then you'll hear the cello as the other voice sing it back. And then you'll hear this storm come rolling in. And if all is well, we're supposed to wind up back in the love song. So you can check us on that. And if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to in the middle, you can listen for who starts the storm, but it's not important.
Ready? That's true, I started it, but did you notice who resolved it? I was a hero.
You were a hero.
So, gonna write not gonna write a song right now, but this is from the new CD. This is a tune I wrote for Hannah. This when we took our honeymoon 11 years ago, we actually really decided to do it right, and we went to Kauai in Hawaii, and that was an awesome experience. And we were there 10 days, and it was really a very special time. And one of the things we got one of those packages where we like hiked for a while, and then we were in kayaks for a while. And when we stopped for lunch, we stopped at this huge waterfall and had lunch, and it was quite beautiful. And one of the things that you do there, if you want to, is you jump off the waterfall. And so Hannah and I did it. We decided to jump off the waterfall, and we were so happy we survived that I wrote a song for Hannah. This is called "Crashing the Waves." I held my breath, you closed your eyes. The tide was deep and it hypnotized. Your hand in mine, we jumped right in. Another day in paradise. When your heart speaks, my heart listens. And when I'm weak, you carry me. When my heart aches, your heart is giving. On and on we go, crashing the waves. I watch the rain fall in your eyes. Colors blur, and we realized we made our choice to dance this dream. Lines drawn in the sand, destiny. When your heart speaks, my heart listens. And when I'm weak, you carry me. When my heart aches, your heart is giving. On and on we go, crashing the waves. Crashing the waves. Crashing the waves. Crashing the waves. The waters come after the storm. Colors blur and your skin is warm. You pulled me in, we held our breath, riding the waves with our arms outstretched. When your heart speaks, my heart listens. And when I'm weak, you carry me. When my heart aches, your heart is giving. On and on we go. When your heart speaks, my heart listens. And when I'm weak, you carry me. When my heart aches, your heart is giving. On and on we go. On and on we go. On and on we go, crashing the waves.
Thank you. So I'm going to do a song now that takes you back to my roots. And there's a reason that I'm doing this one for you. This is one that I did 2 years ago here at the Rialto when we had Michael Manring as our special guest on electric bass. And some of you may have been here for that one as well. But based on the recording from this concert, when we did that performance with him, we actually chose one of those songs to put on the new CD. And the one that we chose was the two of us doing the Bach prelude for unaccompanied cello, accompanied by a bass. Sort of redefined it a little bit. But it just wound up being a really inspiring experience for both of us and for all of us to actually be a part of it and kind of watch that come together. And he had actually played the Bach suite with a friend of his, a colleague, Michael Hedges, who is an amazing guitarist whose life ended young. And that was what they would play together. That was one of the touchstone pieces that the two of them would play. And so he hadn't actually played it since his friend had died until we played it here for you at the Rialto. And that was a really powerful piece to the story that it moved me. And there's something about Bach that he's so reinventable, you know? It's like all these years later and we're all still playing Bach. And I actually took Zach, our 16-year-old that you saw, and a bunch of his friends to a dubstep concert this last spring at Red Rocks. 6 hours of dubstep guys doing their thing and the whole works. It was quite the experience for all of us, myself included. And but it was really great because at one point in this piece, there was a big build and then a big drop, and they used Bach as the drop. And I just thought that was so cool, and I had leaned over to Zach and said, "That's Bach," you know, and so once again, he got reinvented. So anyway, this is based on the rendition that's on the CD, but tonight it's truly unaccompanied cello. And it's the Bach prelude from his very first suite, so this means the beginning. Thanks very much. So we're going to take you back and do another song that goes back to that Barefoot CD. And you know, we talk about so many different sources of inspiration that we have for our music. And primarily it's these travels that we get to do and this life that we get to live, like sort of just musical gypsies blowing around the different places. And it's such a gift. And we really stay grateful for that. But we have another source of inspiration as well, as in addition to the travels, and that's from our own lives, and I think sometimes from the most difficult times possible in our own lives. And this song is an example of that source of inspiration. And so it was inspired by, I think, truly the two most difficult times in my own life. And there's something about taking those times and turning them into music that somehow has felt really, really important to me. And so the very first difficult time that this one was inspired by was years ago. I was a teenager, and my mom went through a battle with cancer and did not survive. And so that left a hole that lasted through the years, as you can imagine. And then back in the first year of Acoustic Eidolon, the next really difficult patch was I was diagnosed with cancer. And so it was just one of those things where when I was writing this song, it's a song that I wrote for my mom, but it's got all these kind of full circle moments in life as well, and ways that our stories have intertwined, and I can see things more and more through her eyes now as I grow up and now have Zach, who's a teenager, and all those things. So it's, but I'm a truly lucky, lucky woman. I had a wonderful mother, and she taught me how to live my life fully and how to do things as gracefully as possible. And she was actually the one back when I was really small and just learning to play the cello. She was the one who thought to say to me, you know, Hannah, you should figure out how to do that with your mouth shut. It's one of those memos that, you know, only your mom can tell you that. And I'm really, really glad that she got that one in.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So the song is called The Shape of a Woman. You left in the evening, the leaves were falling. I looked deep in your eyes. My world held its breath. The sky started crying and slowly turned to ice. Your hands, they held me, taught me and shaped me. Your laugh I hear still. Your eyes held my tears, your arms my dreams. Footsteps I try to fill. I spent so many years trying to chase after love, years of empty moments. But the hole that I had, that I was trying to fill, was the shape of a woman, the shape of taught me to walk, then pushed me to fly. You gave me all that you knew, but the flight you intended, we never took. I wanted to fly next to you. I spent so many years trying to chase after love, years of empty moments. But the hole that I had, that I was trying to fill, was the shape of a woman, the shape of you, the shape of you. Maybe the rest of your life was written silent, so I would know that when life too much, and I thought I was breaking. It was time to let go. And deep in the night, I sit by my window. The mask I wear fades away. I go to the mirror, I look deep in your eyes. I see that your smile's here to stay. I spent so many years trying to chase after love, years of empty moments. But the hole that I had, that I was trying to fill, was the shape of a woman.
The shape of
I spent so many years trying to chase after love, years of empty moments. But the hole that I had, that I was trying to fill, was the shape of a woman, the shape of you, the shape of you. Shape of a woman, the shape of me.
Thanks so much. So I want to just take a quick moment here to tell you all a little bit, for those of you seeing us for the first time, I'd like to explain to you what separates Hannah and myself from all the other guitar-cello duos out there. And it's actually these guitars that I play. These are instruments that I designed and had custom made. I call them my 14-string double-neck Gitjos. They've also become affectionately known, as many of you know over the years, as Dos Neckis as well. And this is the original Dos Neckis. I had this one built in 1991 right here in Colorado by Denny Stevens. And each neck has 7 strings as opposed to the traditional 6 strings. So the bottom neck is strung like a 5-string banjo. And then there are 2 additional treble strings. The upper neck is strung like a traditional guitar, but with an extra bass string. So it gives the instrument a whole lot of range. And I've developed this crazy technique over the years where I play both necks at the same time. And I do that by mostly playing melody notes with my right hand on the bottom string by plucking with my right. And then I play bass notes and chords with my left hand by plucking with my left hand on these strings, just as I pluck with my right. Or there's also a technique called a hammer-on. Wherever I hammer, I can make those notes sound. So guitar and bass with this hand, melody with this hand. Does that make sense? Okay. So anyway, when I put it all together, it sounds like... Thank you so much. Thank you. And that's a cello. Just kidding.
I know, it's just, you know,
I
it's
love
always
doing
old
that.
hat.
Every night I do that. So anyway, and this is double...
Actually, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all right.
No, I wouldn't interrupt the double.
I insist. I insist.
I was just going to tell you a 2-sentence thing about my cello, and that is that this was actually one, my cellos were built by Christopher Dungy, who's a cello maker who's still alive, so he's a modern builder, which is good. And so my cello can, a few times a year, go to meet her maker and come back, which is a perk. And but this one was actually the cello that was destroyed by United Airlines years ago and got rebuilt. And so the beauty of this cello was that actually it was, again, here at the Rialto, and Chris actually finished rebuilding this cello completely. The top had been smashed in the back and everything, and so he rebuilt it, brought it here, and the first time I laid eyes on it and played it was in concert here for you guys. And so this is why you guys are so special to us. Every year we look forward to our evenings here with you at the Rialto.
Yes,
and so you're a piece of our story.
Yeah. So this is double neck number 2, and this one was built in 2003 in Florida. It's strung the same as this double neck, but it's a different body style. It has bubinga, African hardwood, and it's hollow, but it's what's known as an acoustic electric. So, and all these necks are in different tunings. I have them tuned different ways in order to get the sounds that I hear in my head out. So anyway, with having said that, we'll feature both of these instruments on another Christmas number. This is a fun one. We love this one. This is from our Winter's Call CD. This is Carol of the Bells. Merry Christmas.
Sorry, we just had a little storm. That was a mini.
So let's see. Enough of Christmas for now. There's going to be a lot of that coming up. So we'd like to do one of our original Celtic-inspired pieces. That's another big flavor that we draw from. So this is actually one of our originals called Calling of the Moor.
Climbed the mountain, I am the one who battled the sea. I am the one who tamed the thunder, now I call out to thee. You are the one who brings the dawn, you are the one who calms the sea. You are the one who gives me hope, and your touch has set me free.
He calls out to me, but I bend with the wind. My soul wanders free, still he calls me again. His strength it is vast, and his hand reaches far. Though my heart sings alone, still he calls me again.
I am the one who climbed the mountain, I am the one who battled the sea. I am the one who tamed the thunder, now I call out to thee. You are the one who brings the dawn, you are the one who calms the sea. You are the one who gives me hope, and your touch has set me free.
He calls out to me, but I bend with the wind. My soul wanders free, still he calls me again. His strength it is vast, and his hand reaches far. Though my heart sings alone, still he calls me again.
Thank you so very much. Well, thank you. This has been an awesome evening. We got time to do one more tune, but before we do that, there's a few people we really would love to thank. And first of all, that's Mr. Butch Haas on sound. Thank you, Butch.
Thank you, Butch.
As always. And the lovely couple that are such dear friends of ours that are responsible for the lights tonight, all the staging. That's Mr. Dennis and Nada Fisher. Thank you guys so much for your continued help. And we want to thank...
Could you tell it was the Milky Way behind us?
Yeah, that's the Milky Way.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
We didn't, when we were in Norway, one of my hopes was to see the Northern Lights. I still have never seen those. And I didn't see them there either. They were happening, but it was cloudy every single night except for one that was really, really cold, and I went out, and there weren't any. So I still haven't seen them, but I've seen the Milky Way.
That's
so
right. Well, maybe,
thank you,
Nada, next year you can do the Northern Lights,
Yeah,
the Aurora
yeah.
Borealis for us. And let's see, we had some folks, I forgot to warn you up front. We had two wonderful friends of ours from DPA Microphones, which are the microphones that Hannah uses on her cello, here recording the show tonight. And Bryce and Paul, thank you so much for coming out and recording the show.
We didn't want you guys to get nervous, so we didn't tell you.
Yeah, we didn't tell you. Yeah, that's right. And also we have Channel 8, the Longmont channel, here taping the show tonight, which they're going to be airing over this next month in Longmont. So, Bill, thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you, Channel 8.
Yeah. And another big round of applause for our son Zach and his good friend Harrison for their incredible dance moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, we'll be right back here tomorrow night. So will they, right here. So if you want to come see them shake their boogie, what do you say? Shake their boogie thing or whatever you say. You can tell how old I am. But please, I think there are still some tickets left tomorrow night. So if you have friends or family that you think might enjoy the show, please tell them to come out and check it out. And most importantly of all, we want to thank all of you for all these years you've been supporting us so well, and it's so wonderful. We appreciate it. So thank you for coming out
Thank you.
again.
Give yourselves a hand.
Us.
Come on now. It's true.
And I think they're out at the CD table. There's some, you can join our email list if you haven't already. We'd invite you to do that. There's some cards out there we have more shows here in Colorado, including Swallow Hill in Denver in a couple weeks. We're doing 2 nights at the Glen Erie Castle in Colorado Springs, which is, if you've not been there, is pretty
We'll be
special
in Leadville
place.
in about a week. So.
Yeah, Leadville, kind of all over the state for our annual concert. So please come and visit us again. So without further ado, we'll leave you in Spain because it's nice and warm there. And this is the title cut to our 7th CD. This is River of Fire. Thanks again. Hannah and I hope you guys have awesome holidays and safe. you so much. Tana Alcara on the cello. Oh, thank you. So, well, we've had several requests, but we're going to play them anyway. And so one of them, we'll do one here, and then we'd have time to do actually two requests if somebody can think of something else they'd like to hear. But we'll do this one because everybody was requesting this. And I don't think we can really start the Christmas season until we do a little Led Zeppelin. This is one of Led Zeppelin's more famous Christmas pieces. And actually, it kind of is a Christmas piece, come to think of it. So anyway, hopefully you'll recognize this. I won't tell you the name of it. You guys, yeah, you look like the audience that should recognize this song. So.
Now remember, we love these guys. We don't want to
true that.
drive them away. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks again. Did we not do anything? Did anybody want to hear anything? Ashokan farewell? Okay, cool, all right.
We could do that.
We can do that. And I think that's the Schwartzes, right? Okay, this is for you folks.
So one of the last times we played the Ashokan Farewell actually was in Norway when we were there last fall doing concerts for 3 weeks. And we traversed all over Norway. It was just the most magical experience to get to experience such a country that was so far north and had potential northern lights and these kinds of things. But even without that, the landscape was just stunning. I mean, you know, it's like you see the Colorado calendars and you go, yeah, Colorado is stunning as well, but there are other parts of the state that aren't quite that stunning. And we never found a place in Norway that wasn't like one of the postcards. It was just even the part where they go, yeah, it's not quite as dramatic. It's just waterfalls and cliffs and fjords, and it was really, really dramatic.
Yes, thank you very much. And we'll be out in the lobby at the Acoustic Eidolon Mini Mart out there. And we'd love to meet you and visit after the show. But we'll leave you with a beautiful piece by Jay Unger. This is from our Eidolon, our very first recording. This is called the Ashokan Farewell.